day 184, and I am leaving the Appalachian Station on 19 East. Took a rest day yesterday. It was great. I feel rejuvenated. I've got a long climb up Hump Mountain and then up Roan Mountain. So came over to say goodbye to my girlfriends, but they're over there eating breakfast and they are ignoring me. So for now, Recon out. All right, just starting out day 184. Just got dropped off at the trail crossing of US 19 East, and it is cold. It is probably right around freezing, and the wind was blowing pretty hard. So I'm gonna get moving and I'll get up with y'all later. So this is Doll Flats. So I'm gonna climb up from 19 East, and it levels out here and then starts climbing again over Hump Mountain. So that's pretty cold and windy. I've been climbing, so I've been producing a ton of heat, so I'm kind of stripped down. I ran into a couple going the opposite direction, and the woman was like, "It's very cold up there. It's freezing cold up there." And I said, "Yeah." "It's very windy." I said, "Yeah." So I think she was worried I wasn't prepared, but I think I'll be okay. Once I get out of the trees and get on the bald in that wind, I'm gonna have to get my stuff out. I'll probably put my Gore-Tex jacket on at that point to break the wind, but we'll see how it goes. So continue on. I just came out of the woods, and you can see ahead of me that the trees up there are all covered in ice and frost. So I am probably going to go ahead and put my jacket on now because it looks like it's going to get pretty cold. I need to get my water filter taken care of too, because if it freezes, it's going to be ruined. So I need to take that off my pack and put it in my pocket or something. So I just left the tree line, and you can see the trail continues to climb. All these little, whatever they are, on the ground are all covered in ice. Quite the beautiful view though. Look at this panorama. Just really gorgeous. That's where I came, right up through there. And that is Hump Mountain. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to go up here and take a right and ascend that ridge line over the top of Hump Mountain. You can see how frozen it is up there. So it's windy. It's pretty cold out here right now. Right, I've been climbing almost 4 hours. That's where I came from. I'm at the top of Hump Mountain now. Hump Mountain. And just beautiful. Look at the panorama here. It's gorgeous. It is windy up here, as you can tell, and still pretty chilly. I've met several northbounders, so talked to them all a little bit, but I'm gonna get going because it's too cold to dawdle around up here. I'll get to jump with you later. Descending the backside of descending Hump Mountain, and I think that directly in front of me there, the trail ascends back up that thing. I think that's the top of over there. I'll be glad to get out of this wind. It's blown me sideways several times. So I'm in the gap between the two mountains. I'm going back that way, and the trail heads up and then into the forest. So hopefully I'll get a break at that point, because this is really pretty cold and windy. And stop, that's all. Oh, man. Ah. So I'm ascending Little Hump Mountain. I've already gone over Big Hump Mountain. And I came around the corner and saw this. And I thought, man, that is beautiful. So I'm going up that way, right there. Alrighty, things are a little bit warmer. I'm down lower. That's good news. Still going to be 24 degrees tonight, so I'm going to get up to this next shelter, which is about 1.5 miles. And if there's space, I'll probably set my tent up because I'll be warmer in the tent, I think. But I did want to say that a while back I crossed into North Carolina, and that is my 13th state. So I only have Georgia to go. And I just wanted to let you all know that I am in my 13th state. So Semper Fi and Recon out. And good morning and welcome to day 185. And this behind me is the Stan Murray shelter. So I camped over that way in my tent. Got cold last night. My temperature on my thermometer inside the tent was 27 degrees. I don't know how cold it was out here. It was also kind of windy, so it was pretty chilly. Anyway, I'm packed up, ready to get moving. Got about 13.5 miles today to get to the Clyde Smith shelter. And then again, I'll probably just camp outside the shelter. But it looks to be a beautiful day. Yesterday was really cold and windy. Bright blue skies now, so hopefully it'll warm up a little bit. So I'm on my way, Semper Fi. Climbing pretty steadily towards Grassy Ridge Bald. So it's warmed up a little bit. Took my fleece off and took my gloves off. When I break out of the trees here and into the wind, I might need to put them back on again. Just came out of the trees. It is so pretty up here, but it is windy and cold, and I'd taken my fleece and my gloves off and stashed them away because I was getting too hot. And now here I am above the trees in the wind and cold. So it's always a tough decision to make how much to wear. You don't want to overheat and sweat because that would be way worse than being a little chilly. But look at this. It's really cold out here. So this is the top of Jane Bald, and there's a sign right there, 5,800 feet. So this has a special place in my history. In about 1981 or 82, I can't remember exactly, I was out here in the Marines in January, and we were training, and it was cold, pretty cold out, and we were training just in the gap beyond this. We were setting off a ambush, and we had some vehicles coming down the road, and we were supposed to ambush those vehicles. And we set the ambush off, and we fired a bunch of flares and parachute flares and whatnot, and set the top of this mountain on fire. And so Jane Bald was having a grass fire. The commanding officer marched us all to the top of this thing, and with entrenching tools and whatever we had at hand, we put the fire out. So it wasn't a terribly big deal, but had to be dealt with. And so anyway, from that point forward, we started calling it Jane Very Bald because we'd burned the top of it off. So, anyway, I'm here 40 some years later, and it looks like Jane has recovered. The trail ascends this bald here. Not sure what the name of it is, but it's really pretty out here. Some houses down in there, and then this is the way I came here, and that is Jane Bald ahead of us right there. Just left that, so heading back up the other way. I'm not one generally for taking side trails, but this seems legit. It's really pretty, and they've gone to the trouble of giving us a key here. That's kind of nice. You can tell what everything is. So this is the opposite side of the ridge, and I am basically walking right along the state line. And so as I go south, I have Tennessee to my right and North Carolina to my left. And they put these signs opposite each other. So I will show you that. And then if you're interested, you can try to pair that up with what's out there. So I am climbing the north side of Roan Mountain. I will try to film it when I get up there, but Roan Mountain was the site of the Cloudland hotel, which I believe in the late 1800s was very popular. What I'm walking on now, it's kind of wide, was a former cart path or carriage path. So wealthy people would be picked up at the train station and then brought up the mountain in a carriage. And so that's why this section of the trail is wide and somewhat gradual. So I took a little side trail here. This is the site of the former Cloudland Hotel. And you can see part of a foundation over there. But this was a 3-story resort built in 1884. And as I said before, people would ride carriages up from the train station. And the state line, North Carolina and Tennessee, runs right through the hotel, right through the banquet hall. And you could drink on the North Carolina side, but not the Tennessee side. So you had to make sure what side of the hotel you're on. I've actually camped up here in the past. I don't see any no camping signs, so I suppose you still could. But anyway, it's kind of an interesting piece of history. It's all gone now. Pretty close to stopping. I've got a steep downhill to the next shelter, probably about another mile. But there's a little side trail to this, and this is just fabulous. I thought I'd get it so y'all can have a look. It's really beautiful. I like this over here. It's a little tiny farmhouse or something down there. Okay, I'm going to end my day here. There's a shelter right through there. It's probably already full. I'm running into the northbound bubble now. I'm starting to hit a bunch of people going north, and so the shelters are going to fill up. I came back behind here, and there's like a space right there for my tent. So I'm going to get the tent set up, and then I'll go get water and make dinner. Whew. Welcome to day 186. I spent the night in my tent at the Clyde Smith shelter. Had a good night. Slept really well. There was probably about 10 or 12 northbounders there. I'm starting to get into the northbound bubble a little bit, I think. It's windy right now and cold. It's probably about 40, and I'm freezing. So I jumped up and I'm moving. This morning I woke up about 5:20, had to pee, so I was just like, I'll just get up. And so I went and got my food bag. I cooked in my tent, had breakfast, got all packed up and on the trail by 7 a.m. So that's a good start for me. But it is cold and windy, so I'm moving now to try to warm up a little bit. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going. The Nolichucky River is 26 miles south, and I'm going to the hostel there. I need to be to the river no later than 2 p.m. tomorrow, because that's when the rubber raft ferry stops running. So there's no shelters between me and there. I'm going to go as far as I can and then find a place to camp tonight. So for now, Recon out. So here I am on the Helene detour. It's about, I don't know, 8 miles, 8.5 miles. That bypasses the worst stretch of damage. So everybody I've met so far coming north has said, don't take the detour. Don't take the detour. It's terrible. I didn't plan on taking the detour. Somehow I ended up on it. And by the time I was on it, it was just too late to turn around. So I'll keep you posted. Hope for the best. So I'm still on that bypass. They had all said, you know, how steep it was, and it was super steep. It was probably the steepest thing I've gone up and then down again since New England, and it was slippery and muddy. It was, you know, obviously very quickly thrown together to bypass the worst storm damage section. So now I'm just on a road walk, and I'm about halfway through the detour, I believe. I should be back on the Appalachian Trail in probably another hour. But the good news is there was a car coming down, and there was a fella driving it who was a former thru hiker, and he was shuttling a northbound hiker. And anyway, the driver was a former Marine. And so he gave me a Coke, which was really nice. And then we started talking. And then he said, hey, if you want to get out of the rain tonight, give me a text from the road. I'll come pick you up, and you can come sleep on the porch or whatever, have a shower, and then we'll probably go to the VFW for a couple drinks. So that's pretty awesome. I may very well take him up on that because it's 12 noon now. It's raining. It's about 45 degrees. It is miserable. It's only going to get worse. So, you know, that's trail magic right there. Right. So for now, Semper Fi. Yeah, this is pretty awful, honestly. So the wind just picked up. It's raining. Turning to kind of a steady rain now, and it's cold. So anyway, nothing to do but keep moving. So this is Unica Mountain, which is kind of cool because it's 5,500 feet or so, I guess. But you can see it's a spruce forest, so much different from what I've been going through. It's been raining steadily for the past several hours, and it's cold and foggy, and I'm pretty much soaked to the skin. So I met a trail angel way back on the road back there, who's a former thru hiker and also a former Marine, and he offered to pick me up down the trail a little bit and take me into the hostel. So I'm a little ashamed to say I'm gonna take him up on his offer and get inside and get dry. And then tomorrow I'll just start back where I got off and ironically walk to the same hostel. So anyway, I'll be off trail in a little bit here, probably another 2 hours.
And good morning and welcome to day 187. I am at Uncle Johnny's hostel in Erwin, Tennessee. You can see it is raining out there. It is cold and miserable. So last night I was going to camp out after I left Clyde from the shelter. I ended up running into a trail angel, and he offered to pick me up and bring me back to the hostel, so I didn't have to camp out. It was a cold, icy rain all day, so I eagerly took him up on his offer. So I did 15 miles yesterday. I got the beauty spot. He picked me up and brought me back here where I was able to dry out and dry my gear out. So sorry about the trucks. These are construction trucks repairing the railroad after the flood. So anyway, he's gonna come get me at 8 a.m., drop me back off at beauty spot. I'm gonna slack pack the 11 miles back here at Uncle Johnny's and stay here again tonight. So I'll soon be back on trail, and I will catch up with you. Semper Fi.
All right, so local trail angel ran me back up to beauty spot. This is where they picked me up yesterday, and you can see it's pretty dismal. It's all fogged in. Usually a gorgeous view from here, but can't see anything. It rained all last night. It's probably gonna rain all day today. It's not raining right this very second. So I've got a small pack. I'm just carrying the essentials: food, water, some warm clothes, my Garmin in case I have an emergency, and I also got my tent. In this kind of weather, it's just a good idea to have shelter in case of an emergency. If you break your leg or twist your ankle and can't go, you could die out here in a very short period of time. It's 40 degrees down in town, according to the bank thermometer. It's probably much colder up here. So I'm going to scoot. I think I've got 11 miles to get back to the shelter, or back to the hostel. So I'm going to go ahead and take off. I might not film very much, especially if it starts raining, because my phone gets wet. It starts glitching and acting weird. So anyway, for now, Semper Fi, Recon out. I will get up with you a little bit later. Well, for the moment, it has stopped raining. I don't know how long my luck will hold, but it's actually kind of peaceful. The forest is pretty wet and the trees are dripping, but it's foggy and very quiet, and actually a fairly level piece of trail. So not a bad hike at the moment.
River.
Awesome. So Nolichucky River, that used to be a steel reinforced bridge, which is now laying up along the side of the bank. That is where the bridge came across, right there. And now I'm getting a ride in a rubber raft to the other side. So heading there to the south side, and there's the hostel. And what's my guide's name?
My name is Fairy Fairy.
Fairy Fairy?
Yeah, or Lila's my real name. Fairy Fairy is my trail name.
Okay. So I'm getting paddled across in a rubber raft. Wow, pretty cool. There's the end of the bridge right there, unfortunately. It's amazing the force of water it took to bring that bridge down. Just unbelievable. And there we are, safely on the southern side of the Old Chucky River. There's my guide.
Hello.
Excellent guide over there. And there's the other side of the river. Made it in one piece.